Hello to all my gearheads and welcome back from Traveling the Vast Universe. I am back with a new video for you on the Blind Tech Quadrant. Today we are talking about the low-tech side of assistive technology. What do you mean by low-tech, you may ask? Low-tech is basically a term used for any product that doesn't require the high-tech components that we see in an iPhone, an iPad, etc. But it is still used as a way of people being able to live a healthy life in independence. So today I am going to be talking about different low-tech items that can be used, well, also adding on to some of them that are used. First, I am gonna introduce different types of tape. One thing I like to use when it comes to some of my makeup products, I sometimes like to use either Scotch tape or masking tape to help me navigate around some of my makeup items. Because I do love makeup, and as you can tell, I did make myself up for one of my other videos on the beauty quadrant, or should I say the beauty related playlist here on YouTube. I may have to change it in, since I am adding quadrants to each thing. But as I was saying, here's an eyeliner for example. I tend to label my purple eyeliners with masking tape. This is my purple eyeliner by a brand called Sugar Cosmetics, and this is one I got in Ipsy a year ago. And I tend to also use Scotch tape to help me label my blue eyeliners to tell them apart. It's like, here's a blue eyeliner, here's a purple one, with masking tape, and I just feel for it. I also do use braille labels for some of my eyeshadow palettes, or even some of my blushes, for which I could show. For example, like here's my lavender steel highlighter. Yay, I got the name right this time around because I accidentally called it Lavender Snow, but that's from Jeffree Star. But this is my lavender steel highlighter, and it has a braille label that says Lav for lavender. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if anybody has noticed, but lately some of the braille tape has not been sticking as well. If anybody has issues with that, just comment down below, because I remember the days when braille tape used to stick a lot on my products, but nowadays it's not sticking as it used to. But anyways, moving on. Next are these little things, if you remembered from childhood with using them. I mean, even a lot of teachers use them for motor skill basics. But pencil grips. Ta-da! I tend to use these on my makeup brushes, on my eye brushes especially, to tell which one is mainly what I could use for different parts of my eye, like my crease, to blend and to either define. Sometimes some brushes don't fit all pencil grips, so you have to make sure if it fits, it'll fit. If it doesn't, it won't. But you could get these, I got these on eBay, but you could get them in any store if you look harder enough, but you can also find them on eBay pretty easily. Also Amazon. What else? If you have a school supply store, you could pretty much find them anywhere if you could. And also, they're not too expensive. I know the Moon ones, you could get a big box of them for like $10 on eBay, which I may go that way because I used to love those ones. So those are pretty handy. Okay, next up, which is a very common item to use for labeling, and they are, some of them kind of fell out, rubber bands. Ta-da! Sometimes I use these to label some of my other eyeliners, but mainly I use them to label different kind of jars to tell me this is the blackberry jam that I eat from the other jars in the refrigerator, my conditioner from my shampoo, also, what else do I use rubber bands for? But still, these do come in handy to label different things that you may want to label with. With the Lighthouse, they taught me if you have like 2 items, like shampoo and conditioner, you would label which one would be closer to the letter A, which is conditioner, for example. And that did come in handy for me for the longest time. Of course, they won't fit around certain shampoo bottles, or, well, if you had to get bigger rubber bands, then you had to. But there are sometimes when shampoos and conditioners come in like more squeezy tube formats. You may have to use a different way of labeling for those, which I've done with my favorite Marc Anthony products, for example. But also I did use it on a different type of deodorant, because I used to use a sleeveless deodorant versus a regular deodorant when I need to. So that's another good example. Another product which is very common, you've probably seen on different visually impaired people's microwaves or something, or you probably use them yourself, and they are bump dots. These are really handy when it comes to labeling your microwave, your oven buttons, because you know you want to bake chicken or bake brownies, etc. These do come in handy because they do, as I said, label buttons on a surface. Also, I even use some of these for my mailbox to tell which one my mailbox is from the others, because I'm not the only one who gets mail in the apartment complex. Heck, I even used the more circular ones to help me label my keys on my Google Chromebook, or shall I say Chromebook.
I found these. The first results
Ah! Yeah, what I meant is for my, what I was trying to say, I even use them to label my Chromebook keyboard to help which key is which, and I just thought that as well trying to get getting my Braille sense to, because if you mention the keyword, it sometimes causes, you know what, assistant to pop up. Sorry about that, guys, but you get the idea. Heck, I even use bump dots for a couple of my makeup products too. Heck, I think I probably used that on one eyeliner pencil, for example. So yeah, another product, but I hardly used as much, but puff paint, or should I say fabric paint. Apparently, this has been a bit of a new thing that a lot of blind people have been using to help them label different things and feel for it, because since puff paint, once it's dry, it's pretty raised. I mean, I even used it sometimes to label double-sided makeup products, but the issue is it does run a bit because you have to try to squeeze so much out of it. Another way, which the personal management teacher at work has mentioned, you can also label your clothes with different lettering or symbols to show which of your clothing are you grabbing for, to give you a bit of a key. So that can be handy for puff paint. And it does take a while to dry, to tell you the truth, because I remember my mom used to do those iron-ons where you use fabric paint to put on the design. And, of course, she had so many of these from the brand Tulip. I hardly see that brand anymore, to tell you the truth, because most of the time I go to Walmart for my fabric paint. But of course you could get different colors if you're into that, but most of the time I just get it for the feels. But sometimes the color gives a really good presentation. But puff paint is another really good labeling. It's another pretty good labeling thing. You just feel for it once it's dry. Next product is stickers. As you know, when you're a kid, you usually get stickers. Sometimes I use these to help label different types of items if I need to. Speaking of which, I remembered a braille label popped off one of my newer blushes. If I could find it. Because I just wore it yesterday. Or wait. Here's my Tea Rose blush from. Wait, here's my NYX matte bronzer, for example. I could take it since I remembered labeling it. Sometimes braille labels do pop off. Well, pop off nowadays, which I don't get what's going on with that. I think it might be the brand, or could it be they're not just making it as sticky as it used to be. So I'm going to be using a sticker to put on top. And you basically would feel for the sticker. Heck, I labeled my lip balms back in the past with stickers to tell which one's which, but most of the time I get lip smackers, so I don't do that anymore. So there. I would just feel here and it's like, oh, there's my NYX matte bronzer from, and I just use it on that. And of course you could get stickers in different textures along the way. I mean, in different shapes, different textures. I mean, Target has a really good selection of different stickers with different textures. Same with Michaels. I mean, you can also go on one website I found out about through Graveyard Girl, which is known as Oriental Trading, and she tends to get stickers from them for her Halloween goodie bags, as an example. So basically, Stickers can be a nice useful thing if you don't have braille labeling tape, or just that the labeling tape just wants to pop up, for example. You can also use bump dots as a way of a backup plan for that issue, masking tape like I said, scotch tape, any form of item that can be a nice little replacement for braille braille labeling tape if it decides to pop up off. I know there is a sticky paper that you could use through the braille labeling maker, which is that little gun type item that you tend to see with the dial on top, which I was told about recently. So I'm taking a look into that and see how it would work. Also, another item, speaking of labeling, again, you could use stickers to label, which is a nice little low-tech item. And finally, for a nice little low-tech item, which I got introduced at new employee orientation, which is known as these little tag things which have braille on them, which are shorthanded in shorthand, which tells colors. These are color clothing labeling tags. I did not know about these until recent, and these are amazing. You basically either A, sew them in, or B, put a safety pin through these little holes that are in the tag to attach to whatever shirt that you have. And this tag is for any mauve, for the color mauve or mauve, based on how you pronounce it. And you have different ones for different colors and also prints. I mean, like for instance, this label is for the color brown. And this one is for printed. You have so many different labels. I got these from the Braille Superstore. You can also get them from Maxi Aids. And the great thing is, if you get them from the Braille Superstore, I think also Maxi Aids has one, but you have a color key which could tell you which label stands for which one. I need to find a way of putting these tags in a different bag to keep them from falling out. I know I have to find them afterwards, but again, you have a key for different colors, which would tell you, and also it does help you out in knowing which color your shirt is, and it also gives you a way of knowing what you're wearing for the next day, because I tend to get my clothes for the next day the night before, so I don't have to go through my entire closet. Trust me, it's not easy. But anyways, that's all the different low-tech items that exist. If you have any other ones, just put them down in the comments below. In the next video, I will be talking about how to use the touch bar on the BrailleSense Polaris, because there is no tutorial for that anywhere. So stay tuned for that. So in the meantime, make sure you subscribe to this channel, and also hit that notification bell for any new videos that come up for this playlist or any other playlists that you may be interested in. Hey, what if you're a convention goer or curious about anime conventions? We have videos from different anime conventions in the community. Also, we do have one from the NFB National Convention where we interviewed the app from the Black Eyed Peas who performed at last year's event. So, until next time, remember, gearheads, blind people are real.